Welcome to Curry Gumbo, the podcast where Nicole and Ashley discuss Black film and TV.
Seem like this could be the female foursome from Girls Trip.
Yes. I was looking up everybody's age, like when they did this, since this is 2001, and everyone is like late 20s to mid 30s. I think
Really?
Vivica is the oldest. I think she's like probably around like 37. Gabrielle Union and Anthony Anderson were like still in their 20s, maybe like 28. And everyone else was like 32, 33, 34. So I was like, this is interesting just seeing them in their like early to mid 30s, late 20s, and seeing how, how things are different. I mentioned this a lot.
Who would have known Anthony Anderson would blow up like this? Because I think Anthony Anderson is the biggest star in this film.
You mean
not
today?
At the time, like today. I think if you showed this to 100 people would recognize Anthony Anderson because of Blackish.
Okay.
Now, all of these people are still Black people famous.
I say, but I think even Morris Chestnut.
I think that more white people know Anthony Anderson. And I'm not trying to say that what white people know is the most important thing. I'm just saying, like, who has the most commercial success? I think Anthony Anderson. Who more Black people famous, who Black women want to see now is like Morris Chestnut. And I want to see what's up with Tamala Jones. Is that her last name? Like, I feel like, to me, she was kind of like Taraji before, like they kind of played kind of the same character.
They look similar. They have that big round face.
Yeah, and I think that if you wanted somebody who could be like loud and rambunctious and like willing to slap a nigga, like go get Taraji, go get Tamala. Like they're going to give you that. And I sometimes I wonder, like, what happened with Tamala? Like, where, why don't we see her in a lot of films? But I feel like with a lot of Black women and these supporting roles, it's just, I feel like you get a good 10
I gotta look into
years
that.
tops. It's sad.
Maybe something happened. I remember I had looked up Lisa Nicole Carson, because she was another like 90s baddie. And I know she mentioned she dealt with some mental health struggles. That's why she stepped away. We haven't seen her in a while. But I haven't looked into Tamala Jones to see. Hold on. The Woods actress shared that she, at the peak of her career, she suffered a brain aneurysm.
Oh no.
Okay.
Well, come on back, baby. I think she's been in some stuff.
Yeah, but I guess to answer your question is why she's not like superstar. That could be a major issue. Your health, whether it's your mental health or physical health, that's usually what happens.
She was on the Tamron Hall show. I got to watch the Tamron Hall show. I got to get into that.
Lala Anthony was in this movie, and I was so confused when I saw her. I'm like, how old is
Lala? Before the BBL and the face tuning.
But she had to be super young. I'm like, I know she was young when she was on MTV. But I'm like, how young is she? Like, she had to be like, according to Wikipedia, she had to be like 19, 20. If they're telling the truth.
How old do you think she? I don't know. I don't trust people who's friends with Kim Kardashian. Ooh. I don't trust them. I just don't.
Ew.
I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all. I also wish that I don't know, she just seems like a product of nepotism to me.
Who?
Like Lala Anthony.
Why?
Cause why is she on Power? Like, couldn't that have gone to an actual actress?
She's an actress. She's been acting. She's been acting. She has credits. She do. She's in this movie.
I'm gonna tell you this.
This her first
that
credit.
Bitch looks good. That bitch. She had posted one photo. I think it was like a New Year's party. I said, bitch, take all my things. Take all my things. Take it. You can have it. That's how good you look. You look she looks fucking amazing.
She's saying she's
And Carmelo Anthony, fuck you. But I still don't think that she, in terms of like, I can't.
the same.
Like, I'm tired of fucking, if I see Young Miami in another acting role, bitch, if you don't go sit down,
Lala's
let actresses have their things.
She been going on auditions. She can't help it. She cool with 50.
Okay.
She was in BMF. You ain't watch BMF, did you?
Sure did not.
She was all in BMF, so it makes sense for her to be in Power too.
BMF came out before Power.
But I'm saying it's still 50 Cent.
What I'm saying is this: the acting classes, they have not been attended. And I just feel like, let actresses live. Like, give this shit to some fucking actresses.
She's
just the
an
same
actress.
thing. Podcast shit. Let the podcasters have it. Like, stop. But hey, do what you want to do, because I understand people gotta diversify their shit. So I'm just hating. Anyway.
Lala been on TV since forever. I'm still shocked if I'm not saying this is a lie. If she's saying she's 41 and this came out in 2001. She was 18 was she on MTV when she was 18? Them VJs was young, right? Does that even make sense?
I don't know. But I mean, how old is Carmelo Anthony?
Oh, he was younger. He's not 40. I think he was born in like 84. So he might be turning 40 this year. I knew that.
So she's a then that seems right.
Yeah.
Because all of this came out when he got drafted into the NBA.
Yeah, but Carmelo was 18.
So she would be 18, 19 too if she's 40.
But how is she already on? Was she already on MTV? Like, when did her career start?
Honey, hold on, because we could find it out.
That's what I'm trying to say. For her to be in this movie, I'm thinking she was already on MTV. But when did she get on MTV? When she was 17? She was on MTV?
When this movie came out?
2001.
In the early 2000s, she worked as an MTV VJ on Total Request Live.
But how old was she? 17?
I guess.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, at 15, she started working in radio, had 97.5 in Georgia.
I know that.
At 19, Anthony worked at The Beat, co-hosting B-Side. She left the station in 2001 and moved to MTV, where she co-hosted Direct Effect and Total Request Live. At 19, she's on now.
Okay. Well, listen, congratulations to you. No, but that doesn't mark you as like, I mean, that's amazing. I'm not saying it's a lie. I'm just like, wow, that's like super amazing for her to do that at 9. Like, how many 19-year-olds are hosting a show on MTV or BET?
I think all these people are lying about their ages. I mean, like, there are some people, like, sometimes I feel like, and maybe this is, I have not accepted how old I am. And I think that I look younger than what I actually am. But it's like, no, bitch, you look fucking old.
No,
But
some of these people younger than us, they look rough.
well, I think that Cash Doll is closer to my age
Is she 30
than
yet?
Cash Doll.
Yeah, is she 30?
Does she look 30?
I mean, I'm not thinking about looks. She's 31.
Okay. Does she look 31 to you?
I can't tell because these girls wear a lot of makeup and makeup ages
Does
you.
she look 31 to you?
She can be, if you told me she was 35, I would have believed it too.
If you told me she was 40, I would believe you. And that's no shade, because I think she's beautiful and I think
She
she's very
is.
talented, and I would get behind her music a lot more if she said I'm 38, because I'd be like, oh my god, a rap girl my age behind this. I feel like if Partisan said he was 45,
And I don't think he's 30. I don't think he is 30.
if Partisan Fontaine said, hey y'all, I'm 45, I would be like, yeah, you are.
Listen, these kids born in the 90s, they just grown. They came out
All right,
grown.
were they born in the 90s or were they born in the late 70s?
I guess.
And did they shit just not pop until they was 35, but they couldn't tell everybody it was 35 because nobody wants to talk to a struggling 35-year-old. They want you to be a fresh 22.
I guess we would never know.
I mean, I think if we offer some quiz, where were you when 9/11 happened? What were you doing?
That's gonna be the question to figure out how old.
I was studying for my SATs. Oh, so you might.
No, so I'm like, I wasn't born. I was born after 9/11.
I was in daycare. Exactly. You know all of Bobby Brown's music.
Who was in this movie?
You know all of it.
And Bobby Brown was in this movie.
Come on, segue.
This reminds me, this is like the typical 90s, early 2000s movies where women in their 30s, I cannot relate. They're not women in their 30s today. Did you see how big Vivica's house was?
Girl!
What the hell are you doing at work?
Girl! Huge.
And why was Morris Chestnut's house so small? I mean, it was nice, but it was like a little bungalow. And I'm like, they live in the same city? Because why their house is so vastly different?
I think that said something about their characters. You know.
Okay.
Like when we meet Shantae, we hear her voice. She's advising a friend. All we see is pictures of large corporate buildings. We have this quick move up the front of a building. It was very phallic to me. I think the size of the house suggested something about masculinity. It just was like, if anyone was going to be putting on airs, it would be Shantae. So of course she's going to have this big luxurious house that we only see fucking 1-2 rooms in. You know what I'm saying? And with him, you get a more realistic house. What this film seemed like, a man who wanted to shut loud women up. That's what this movie was giving me. Like, I could tell this was written by a man.
Yes.
Because what do we talk about? We talk about female friends, and we can tell, like, again, even though I say all of this shit about what's the show? Rap shit.
Mm-hmm.
But what I can appreciate is that even though the two are like business partner friends, we still see that dialogue with two women. We see Shantae Smith with her friends, but there's never a time where she is authentic with them. And that's what made this difficult for me. I can see you being a part of a clique that you faking it for, but you gonna always have one friend that you call and just be yourself with. And I feel like, I wonder if Black men can write women in that way. I wasn't shocked when I saw in the scene in Morris's, I'm sorry, his name isn't Morris in the film. What's his name in the film? Keith. In his kitchen, he has some August Wilson plays, some posters of August Wilson plays. And I find that in August Wilson plays, they're very masculine, like they're very male heavy. And that's okay. Like, I do think that there's a lot of, there are women in his plays, but most of the interiority in those plays are with the men. I mean, think about, did you read the play or did you see the film Ma Rainey's Black Bottom?
I watched
this is about Ma Rainey.
Yeah.
Famous ass Ma Rainey. But what are we talking about in this play, in this film? We're talking about these men.
Yeah.
These men who are in. So it just felt, the film just kind of felt, I knew it was coming from a male point of view. But
I thought it was, well, two things. I thought it was weird that Keith had pictures of Shantae in his house and at work. I'm like, really? The same picture? The same headshot? Nah, it's not a picture of both of them. But that headshot of Shantae in his kitchen and in his office. I'm like, okay now. Also, Wendy Raquel Robinson's character just seemed like she was like a Shantae student in a way.
Yeah.
Because when we meet her, she's like crying on Shantae's couch. And Shantae is going in her lesson plan about what to do, how to handle a breakup or how to handle these men. And you can see like later when the women are walking like down the street and they're like, oh, well, I think Monique and Tamla, they're challenging Shantae like, okay, so what happens if you pop up at his house and someone is there? And then like Wendy Raquel Robinson's character, she's like, she got the answers, like she's passing a test or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what is really going on here? This is not how friends talk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't you wish that there were, it seems like Shantae, and maybe this is, on purpose, like Shantae wouldn't be able to handle a friend who,
telling her, being honest with her.
She needs to be the friend in charge.
Possibly. Like she had everything going for herself.
I don't know, sometimes there are people like that. Like, you can tell Shantae is the one who is running that crew.
Mm-hmm.
If someone wants to go to Pizza Hut, but Shantae said, oh no, we're going to Domino's, they're going to Domino's.
Yeah.
If someone says, hey, why don't we go to Abu Dhabi for our trip? And she's like, no, we're actually going to go to Ghana. Then they're going to go to Ghana.
Yep.
And Shantae wants it that way.
I was saying they all hang out at her favorite restaurant or her favorite spots.
Or her house.
Mm-hmm. I felt like this whole setup, so I guess Shantae is dating Keith, and I guess Shantae is breaking the fourth wall about how to handle a relationship or how to keep your man, whatever message she's trying to send. And I guess what she says is, how you know a man is cheating on you is if he says he's working late.
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing you know, Keith calls her and says he's working late. So her antenna goes off and is like, And so she goes out with her friends at her favorite spot. She runs into Keith with another woman, but it seems like it's like a business dinner. It didn't even seem like he was doing anything shady.
They were dancing though.
But did you get he was cheating on her?
he's such a great actor that I understand what you're saying. It did not feel
like he was caught in the act.
sexual.
Yeah.
Even though he admits to his friend, I think she's attractive. I did kind of lust after her. If the scenario was right, I would sleep with her. But I
But it
didn't,
took him a while because Anthony Anderson, he was pressing him. He was like, you didn't want to
yeah.
hit. You didn't want to hit. He was like,
And
no. He was like, I wasn't thinking about. And I'm sure he probably wasn't thinking about that beforehand. And then
I think he wasn't. I think that he went there with the intention. I don't think he went there with the intention to cheat, even though
that's kind of
I
like,
don't.
well, if you're not being honest.
If someone were to call this cheating, I would respect their decision to call it cheating.
Well, I guess.
Because what was wrong with him being like, oh, you want to invite me out? Well, let me call my girlfriend. She would love to come.
Unless it's a business meeting. Like what?
If it's a business meeting, then why are we going out to a club dancing?
True.
Like I understand, but I feel like, and I'm gonna say Morris Chestnut because I'm talking about his acting skills. I think he did such a great job where you can see him kind of walking that line. When she bumps into him, he does feel guilty. He's like, "Ooh, I told this girl I'm working late. It kind of looked bad." Like, but I wasn't gonna do anything with her, and I believe that. I believe he wasn't.
I do too. But after that, Shantae is like, "Oh, game is on, so we're gonna play with him." And she goes into this, I don't know, 5 to 7 day? No,
It's a 10-day. It's a 10-day.
10-day.
10-day program.
10-day program of what to do when you suspect. I guess if we call this cheating. And it was like, wait for him to call. It was like, who's gonna call who first? Because whoever calls whoever first, I guess, loses, so to speak. This all seemed childish to me, but it is kind of funny. But I'm like, are people doing this in real life? I hope not, because it's a waste of time.
Of course, people are doing this in real life still.
Have you ever had any situation similar to this?
I think I've had a situation. I mean, even like the first rule, like don't be the first one to make the call. If you can only be the first one to make the call if you were the one who made the mistake. I mean, quite honestly, I feel like I've done this with friends. So like I understand.
Don't call first, yeah.
And honestly, all this is saying is, if you just lead with honesty and vulnerability in the first place, like none of this would have happened. None of it. Like all that nigga had to say was like, "Hey, I'm sorry." Like well, really, what would have stopped all of this saying like, this lady is asking me out. I have a girlfriend. How would she feel about that? How would she feel?
Or just call her and just let her know, like, hey,
if you call me and let me know that you about to go out on a business date, lunch, dance, concert, having fun, lusting, no. I'm going to be very upset. I am going to be very upset. So it's like, don't call me and tell me you about to do some fuck shit.
What about dinner with, what if it was a friend? If that was just a friend, like a female friend.
If it's a female friend that you are going, but you already had plans with me.
That is true. He broke plans. That's
and
messed
if
up.
Your female friend, introduce me to your female friend.
We can all go out together. That is true. We can all
go out together at the same time. I like to go out. Let's go out.
That is true.
I mean, look, all that nigga had to do was be like, hey, here's what I did. I'm very sorry. But I think the film wanted us to believe that even if he had done that, she still would have said, "Oh no, I need to implement my 10 motherfucking day program, bitch. We still
I
on day
need to make him
1.5."
suffer just for
Yeah.
thinking about the possibility of maybe cheating. He has to suffer. So on one of her days, she ends up breaking up with him.
The first like the first communication that they have is her saying, you know, no. So he calls her at the job and she rushes him off the phone and is like, look, let's talk at the bistro. At the bistro, you know, he apologizes and then, oh no, it's okay. Let's break up. Because I got to teach this nigga a lesson.
Since you want to see other people, let's see other people. And he shook. He was like, what? She broke up with me? They didn't really say how long they've been together. Because that plays a factor.
Yeah, it felt very new to me.
Because that definitely plays a factor. If it's a couple months and you break up with me, I'm like, okay. You playing games. But if it's been like a couple years and like, okay,
why are we doing this?
Why are we doing this?
Things like her equivalent here is not necessarily Keith, but Keith's friend, played by Anthony Anderson, who's kind of the puppet master of Keith. He's the one telling him, okay, she did this, then you do that, then you do this. Oh, she did that. Oh, she ain't nothing to fuck around with. She ain't no amateur. Now we got to do this. You know what I'm saying? It was... So Keith is the cute friend. I'm not saying that Anthony. Hold on. Two can play that because I'm forgetting the people's names. Tony. So Keith is the handsome friend. Tony, who's very handsome as well, but he's also a little chubby. And I think that just conventionally, people would say that Keith is the more attractive friend. That's just, I mean, I think that both of these men are gorgeous. It seems like because Tony is not as attractive, he has had to understand the rules of dating because his looks are only going to get him so far.
But also, I'll say also Keith was portrayed as like the good man. He has the good job. He has his own place, like everything you consider a good man to be. Keith checks all the boxes. So he's probably doesn't really have to finesse much, and he's attractive, so he doesn't.
I think it's only because he's attractive, because Tony has the same job.
True. But I was kind of going thinking more of like personality, where some people are just, they're just relationship.
I think that he's allowed to have only this good personality because he's so attractive that I think that there are certain games that you feel like you don't necessarily have to play because there's so many people wanting to be with you. With somebody like Tony, who gotta win a nigga over with the personality, and I'm not saying that this is right or I agree with this, or that Anthony Anderson is not an attractive man, because I think that he's very attractive. Even like, I think he's attractive now, and I think that he was attractive then. But I feel that sometimes the personality that you have to offer is based on the treatment that you have gotten because of the way that you look.
True.
And so there's and I'm not, because that also sounds like, this is so dangerous, but I just feel like I can understand why Keith might seem kind of like oblivious to some of this shit.
Yeah. he probably had when it comes to dating, it's probably came easy to him. He's
Yeah.
probably just like the girl, asked her out, and it worked. Like when he first walked up to Shantae, his little game was, if I ask you 3 questions, I bet all the answers are gonna be yes. And she was like, "Try me," and like they were. And at the end, he's like, "You find me attractive, don't you?" And then you see like
Mhm.
her friends melting, and it's like, okay, you don't use this
Yeah.
line on every girl, and apparently it works. So that's
And also, what he did is some fuck shit. You told the girl you made plans with me. You made plans with me and you canceled those plans for some other shit. I think canceling plans just to hang out with somebody else, friend, romantic interest, I think that's rude, period. Now maybe that's the fucking Virgo in me, but it's like I could have been I'm turning things down because I
yeah.
have this to do with you. So really you wasting my fucking time. I don't even like when friends do that shit. Like, oh yeah, girl, we going to the mall at this time, this day. And then you call me 20 minutes before I'm about to get in the car. It's like, bitch, I could have been doing something else. Like,
True.
that's fucking rude. So not only did you do that, you lied about having to be at work. This wasn't work. Because you could have told this girl, I have plans. That's what you could have did. Then now you go out dancing at a place you know is my favorite
I'll be at.
place.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to act like he's such a good guy. Like, oh, he didn't like. I believe that he wasn't going to do anything with this woman, but you still don't understand how like that was very disrespectful. Probably because you're so pretty that a lot of people would have been like, oh, it's okay.
He's
Sorry.
probably never been challenged. He never had a woman
because he's
challenge
so
him.
pretty.
Yeah.
So gorgeous. Like people would be like, well, I mean,
also,
it would have been enough that he didn't want to have sex with her. It would have been enough for some people to forgive him.
Not only is he pretty, but also because he's a good man, as they say, he checks all the boxes. So like, why would you give up this good man for this thing that he really didn't do? As opposed to the Dwayne who Tamla Man was with, he pretty. Dondre Whitfield is pretty. He pretty, but it was a difference because she in there like busting up all his stuff because what he was doing. Like I feel like it's the difference is that Morris Chestnut was, he's a good man, Savannah.
Yeah,
let him.
and he's cheating and he knows that he's cheating. Keith is being inappropriate and he
don't
kind of
know.
knows that he's being inappropriate, but I think that he's kind of resting on the fact that like I wasn't trying to do anything. I wasn't gonna do anything.
Right. I didn't cheat. I didn't even cheat. I didn't. What do you mean? Like I did nothing.
Which to me is also like you may not call that a game, but I call that
I
it's something. It's I feel like it's a little gaslighty. I feel like it's all kind of in the same stew. Like it these things complement one another. Like where there's one, there's another.
It's like going to be on a diet and going to McDonald's and like, but I didn't eat anything.
Yeah. Like you just
went to
you
McDonald's.
kind of got caught before you could order something. You got caught before because where was this gonna stop? Like first you're dancing. What if this girl was gonna put the moves on you? Like
yeah,
what you was gonna do? What you was gonna do? Child, please. So that's Anthony. I want to talk about Bobby Brown. I mean, he's kind of the first asshole that we meet. Yeah, he's a mechanic.
He was a ugly duckling. He had them fake teeth in his mouth.
I mean,
Jerry
over bite.
And Wendy Raquel Robinson, her character, cleaned him up, had him looking nice, and he looked at himself. He was like, "Ooh, I do look nice," and started wandering his eye as well. And that's how they which I didn't understand why she got with him in the first place, because I'm like, this don't even add up, but okay. You fall in love with your mechanic who looked like Jerome from Martin. Sure. And then you clean him up. And okay. But then I remember Monique was saying how her man ain't got no money or job. I'm like, is this the era of women just dealing with men who ain't got no money? Like, you really just having broke
I
men
mean,
lay in
only
your
two
house?
of them didn't have money. Like Keith
Okay.
had money. Light skinned Cheetah seemed like he wasn't broke.
He
You
wasn't
know what I'm
broke,
saying?
no.
Bobby Brown, well, you a whole mechanic. Now maybe you got a job.
But she paid for his teeth.
Teeth are expensive.
I know.
So I think that you just don't have the type of money she has.
Yeah.
You know?
But again, I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, you really paying for his whole teeth?
Not his whole teeth.
Like,
I
you
feel
paying for his
like
whole mouth?
I
You take him to the
wonder.
mall going shopping? Like, you really taking him? You taking this man shopping? Like, you really doing that?
I mean, acts of service is a thing.
Okay.
And I feel like with her, that is probably her way of showing love. And so one wonders, like when he was like, marry me, of course he want to marry you. Look at all this shit you doing for him.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what if he was a mechanic and you were a CPA, not a CPA, a CNA? And
No, the
you
love
couldn't
can be there.
afford to do any of this stuff.
Yeah. It's like she made this man. Like, she literally just made she polished him off, put him together, buy him some teeth and buy him some clothes, cut his hair. Like, she built him in a way. She took a mold or took some clay and molded it. And then he asked to marry her, and she excited, like, oh, I got a ring. I got it, because she one of them girls gonna say, oh, look, I got a ring. I'm like, you got a ring because you molded this man. Like, you built the man.
And what you gonna do when somebody else come along and decide, oh, I can improve upon this design?
I can buy him some more things.
Got way more money than you. Like, buy him
some newer
what
teeth.
Is going to happen? I think like what their union expressed to me was that like we kind of got to get down to the root of like why we even like each other. I know that he's probably great in bed. I mean, she says that.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
But it seems like his fondness for her is based on what she's able to do for him financially.
Yeah. That's all it is. And she probably helped pay for the ring.
And what is her attraction to him? Because she's just as beautiful as Karen is just as beautiful as all these other women. She's just as successful. Why does she want to be with him?
Plus, part of it watching this, it seemed like this I don't know if it's like an ideology of just women wanting to have a man.
Yeah. It's like the goal was to get married.
Yeah.
Like when she showed them the ring, it's like, oh my God, you succeeded. You did your 10-day program and you have this ring. And I agree with you, like, what so you bought a ring for yourself and he proposed to you? Or are you still paying on this ring and what else? You know?
But hey, whatever. But as we see, it didn't work out.
What about Deirdre?
Who's Deirdre?
Who's Monique? Who's clearly playing the Tiffany Haddish part?
Oh, in this throwback girls trip. I mean, she's definitely the funny friend.
Yeah. Do you I found it a little. I can see how they're friends. Maybe all of
I
them
was
are a
thinking
bit
about
of an
that.
extension of Shantae.
Like, why are they
Cause there
friends?
Yeah, because there are times when Shantae like leans into roundaway girl,
Oh yeah.
hood Shantae. Like there are times where she leans into that. There are times when she's like fully in her corporate bag. There are times where she is, you know, I need to please my man. Like if he has an erection, it is your duty to make him lose that, to like get rid of it, to handle it. You know what I'm
You
saying?
bring it
Like
up, then you bring it down.
yeah, like
Then
that's
you bring it back
she's
up.
in her, I am here to please you bag. So I kind of feel like all of them kind of share aspects of her. So I can see them being friends. And again, this is a man writing this. I knew it was not a black woman of size, or I can see I can see it might I can see it also being a black woman of size who's pandering in a certain way. But do we really need all the like I just kind of felt
Yeah.
like it just felt too easy, you know. Monique is such a great actress that she's still gonna make it art. Like she's still gonna make it funny. Like it's still like her saying like I'm a fucking sew these two dresses together, shit, and I'm gonna make this shit pop. Like watch me do this. I like that she wasn't like, oh no, I'm so fat. Oh god, I like that she still wore like interesting clothes. Like stop putting
She was
the heavier
vibrant.
set women in
Yeah.
like these lame ass Lane Bryant two-piece corporate sets. Like don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it just kind of felt a little too easy, like the fat
Yeah.
jokes.
I get what you're saying.
And it also felt like her having a man who didn't have no money. It felt
Yeah.
like, so what we trying to say? Like she can't get no man with no money because she big? That's what we
She can't get no Keith.
right. Is that what we saying? And we still never see her interact romantically with anybody.
Nope. We just
Now
hear
I
about
don't
it.
know if I don't think at this time she's with Daddy, the
Oh
man that
my
she called
gosh.
Daddy, because he probably like, you can't kiss nobody. You can't kiss
Uh,
nobody on set. I don't give a fuck if it's a movie. But I feel
and
like
when she explained it, it just made it even worse.
I didn't listen to her explain it, and I don't want to see it. Mm-mm. Nope. But I feel like we see Karen be intimate with
We
her
see all
dude. We
of them,
see,
even if they're not intimate. We see their man, but we don't
yeah,
see Monique's man.
yeah. I mean, we see them one time playing cards. They ain't even touching.
We didn't get to Gabrielle Union.
Connie, you always playing some lowdown. You was the same
Some mean girl.
in
Well,
fucking
she said that was
basketball.
her thing. That was her persona.
But she also said that she was real life mean.
Yeah, that's
She
what I'm
was a real
saying.
life mean girl.
That was her. So Gabrielle Union plays a hot chick who we see her in the beginning. I don't know, whatever job they got. They never say what industry they work in, what they do. But she's meeting Keith at work, and
Mm-hmm.
Shantae knows her. She's like, "Hey, girl." She's like, "Hey, girl, let's go see your man." So, okay, girl. And so that happens. During Shantae's 10-day plan, he throws a curveball and shows up at a work event with What's her name? Connie.
With this bitch.
Shows up with Connie.
And I know you know that I know Connie.
Yeah.
And so this is what I'm saying. Like, you can't be that good of a guy if it's so easy for you to reach into fuck nigga land.
Yep.
Like, you there like you a damn native, nigga. Like, so I don't trust it.
And that gets Shantae worked up because she's like, really? Why are you at my work event knowing I'm going to be here with this girl? And he's like, I didn't know you was going to be here because you haven't been picking up my calls. How am I supposed to know where you're going to be at if you don't answer your phone? And then Connie, she ain't no good. Because she's like, girl, you know this my man. And Connie's like, well, if this your man, why he here with me? Go handle your man then. So I'm like, ooh, Connie, you ain't no good. You was just waiting. You was just waiting on Keith to call you.
Shantae suggests that she ain't nothing but a hoe. Who
she did say that.
Advances her career by being a hoe. She becomes like a VP of marketing in the company, and all of a sudden her boss is getting a divorce. It seems like this is her way to get ahead. I don't think that Connie is interested in Keith in order to get ahead.
Oh no, this is all about Shantae.
So you think she got an issue with Shantae?
I think she's just
ooh, I
she has like a personal issue. Yeah. They end up making up. How did they end up making up?
The games don't work.
Obviously.
And she sees him in the club and she goes up to him and says, if I know you, these answers to my questions will be yes. When I saw that, I was like, man, lame ass.
Same whack line he used on her.
Lame ass nigga.
And they live happily ever after. The end. There was a part I saw when I was looking up the director. I didn't realize there was a part 2 of 3 can play that game. Like, I totally missed that one.
Who in it?
Let me look it up.
Did I know that? I feel like it was probably straight to DVD.
It's Vivica.
3 can play that game?
Yep, it's on Tubi.
Oh, sweetness. We're watching this and
Hey y'all, hope you enjoyed the show. Hit us up on Instagram @CurryGumbo. Hope to see you next week. Bye.